All right, we're starting on our second lesson as we walk through the book of Philippians. Last week we looked at recovery requires sacrifice. Today we're going to talk about recovery requires surrender. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It says, in the recovery process, we are reminded that obedience to God to God's program is the one requirement for spiritual growth. Some of us may wonder, how can we succeed at doing what God wants us to do? How can we be perfect? We have already admitted that we are powerless over the pull of our addiction. And we have this thing that we think that we have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect. What we have to do is strive for progress. The only thing that if we're going to have continuous sobriety is to be perfect is not using. But even if we use, we can start all over again, right?
Right.
But the goal is for continuous sobriety. That's the goal. But what we have learned in here, the thing is that we keep coming back. It don't matter. Ain't no shame in relapsing. You know, we just get up and come back. They say in the NA text that relapse is a part of recovery, but it don't have to be a part of yours. All right? It just means that people around you gonna fall off. It's just gonna be a part of the therapeutic community. It said, dear friends, when I was there with you, you were always so careful to follow my instructions. And now that I am away, you must be even more careful to do the good things that result from being saved. Obeying God with the deepest reverence, shrinking back from all that may displease him. I love this text. This is Paul writing to the church at Philippi, and he is telling them, when I was with y'all, y'all was so very careful to do what is right. That's just like for us. I tell the clients, we have two programs here. One program is when I am here or another staff member is here, and then the other program when y'all get to the houses or the staff leave. And what we have to do is learn to be very careful to be the same person outside of the staff's presence. Because sooner or later you're going to be away from here. And you're going to need to have built up that discipline to where you can work the program when ain't nobody here. When you're at the house, you can still do what you're supposed to do. Because we know the thing is, we got to learn how to live this thing when we on our own and by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? If I can only be holy and stay clean when I'm in somebody else's presence, what's going to happen when I'm on my own? So we need to learn how to work this thing when we by ourselves. I love this here. It says, in the recovery process, we must be committed. The first thing we got to be, y'all, is committed. And that's an ugly word for us because we usually haven't committed to anything. Right? That's like being faithful. You know, those are hard things for us, but we need to learn to be committed. You know, that's just meaning learning how to repeat the same behavior over and over again. You know, that's why they tell us when we leave the fellowship to do 90 and 90. You know what that's about? That's about to see if you can be committed when life show up. See, it's real easy to be committed when life don't show up. But when life show up, when I got to juggle kids, family, responsibilities, all that stuff, and then say, no matter what, I'm going to a meeting every day for 90 days. Like we doing this 40 days of prayer now, and my commitment was that I'm going to get up every morning with Pastor and watch his little video and then do my devotion at 6 a.m. Well, so far, I guess we are 2 weeks in? I made it every morning. You know, and my plans is to make it all 40 days.
Amen.
You know, that I would get up at 6, because I made a commitment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be this man that I said that I'm going to be, I need to learn how to be committed to something. And if y'all going to stay clean and y'all going to work this program, commitment is something you're going to have to learn. It's another one. I have to be consistent. Consistent. That's what we struggle with, right?
Yeah.
We can start off real good.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line we stop. We good at starting stuff.
Yeah.
We full of, as I like to say, I'm-a-goners. You know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But can't nobody count on us. Our word don't mean nothing. And why? Because we have not been consistent. So we're gonna learn how to be consistent. There's another one. I gotta be convinced of a lot of things. But the first thing that I have to be convinced of is that I can't use successful. And any of y'all in here still struggling with that? That you're not convinced that you can't use success? You still have reservations that you might be able to do a little road testing. I might be able to drink and ain't nothing gonna happen. I have a couple of them shaking their head. Well, you know what? That is your drug of choices responsibility. Keep on. It will sooner or later convince you that fat meat's greedy. Yeah. You ain't had the right A whooping yet. You see what I'm saying? But some of us just got to be convinced. It's not the treatment center's job to convince you. It's not even your loved one's job to convince you. It's dope that convinces you and consequences that convince you. Y'all got it? Yes. You can't spend a whole lot of time trying to convince an addict. You got to let them go out and experience what they need to experience. And it will convince them. It will. It will. Don't worry about it. Keep coming back. Surrender is the intersection between acceptance and change. Surrender is the intersection. They have to intersect. And when they do, I will get some acceptance and then I will change. But I gotta throw my hands up and say, you know what? I'm committed, I'm gonna be consistent, and I am convinced that I gotta live the way that these people are telling me to live. Why? Because what Herman says, we are consequence-driven people. What I'm convinced of, y'all, is that I'm tired of these consequences.
Yes, sir.
I'm tired of these institutions. I'm tired of these people having authority in my life. See what I'm saying? When I keep on using, it invites people into my life that I don't want in my life. So I might as well surrender. Surrender is freedom. We think when I surrender, it puts me in captivity. No, in this regard, when I surrender to the process, then I get freedom to go and come as I please. When I don't, then people, I be in these institutions, and you know what? Them people in the institutions, they have the unmitigated gall to do is to try to tell you what to do.
Like that boss.
Yeah. And man. Like I say all the time, I'm the only sane director I ever met.
You still going the same direction?
I haven't met one yet. I'm the only one, not only that I've met, that y'all met.
I heard that.
Yeah. Even Val said, yes you are. My friend, she said that. Check this out. It says, for God is at work within you to help you want to obey him. I love that. That thing that's on the inside of us, called the Holy Spirit, is at work helping us to want to obey him. That's what the words say, right? Yeah. And then help you to do what he wants. Then that same thing that helps me to want to It empowers me with the power to do what he is asking me to do. I love that. That not only do I have this thing on the inside of me that urges me to do right, it gives me the power to do it. So I don't have no excuse. If we surrender to the process of recovery, God will give power. Power. He will give us power. In the Greek, it means dunamis, and that means dynamite. He give us that dynamite power to overcome whatever it is. See, before we came in here, we didn't have the tools, and before we accepted Christ, we didn't have the Holy Spirit. So when I got these little $2 that I got, I didn't have the power not to go to the dope house. You gotta do like them old men, see that? Yeah, that's all that's in there too. But if I had this $5, I had to go and get me a nickel, or try to find somebody to go have. I didn't have no other choice. Why? Because I didn't have the power not to. I didn't have the tools not to. So when I came in here and I learned these tools, I learned how to stop and pray and think it through and call somebody and go to a meeting and to remember how bad it was and remember how good I feel in recovery. You know all that old crap they teach y'all here? That stuff. You see what I'm saying? I learned that. And so now I know what to do because I got some power. You see what I'm saying? Amen. And so now that you have the power, you got to stop using the excuse. Now we got to find out what's your excuse for using. I say it is you're not using your tools. You're not using the fellowship in its totality. You see what I'm saying? You're not bonding. You're not networking. You're not calling people. You know, the director say have prayer up and 7 days pass and y'all ain't figured out how to come up with a time. 7 men can't figure out a time to say, well, we're going to pray at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We ain't done that. You see what I'm saying? Why? I don't talk to nobody in the house that I'm in. So because I don't talk to nobody in the house that I'm in, I don't have no power. Because Satan's job is to isolate you and separate you. And then he overpowers you. He know he can't do that when he gets you. Every one of y'all that sobriety, called y'all sobriety day, and it doesn't change. It was simply because you were by yourself. You were by yourself. Somebody pissed you off in the fellowship and you stopped fellowshipping. It's amazing that the people in the dope house don't piss us off and we say, you know what, didn't piss me off so much in this dope house, I will not go to another one. We don't never say that. But they make us mad at the treatment center or at the church, we'll say, I ain't coming back there. In meeting. Get mad at the dope house and say, I ain't going back no more. They don't treat me right. I done went to this one, they didn't treat me right, and then I went to this one, they didn't treat me right. And so you know what I'm going to do? I just ain't going to no more. Yeah, do that. Try that. Yeah, try that. Because we don't never get mad at them. We forgiving, ain't we? We'll forgive the dope man and all of the people in there. And they don't even have to ask for forgiveness. We just make it up in our mind. I almost squashed that, man. I'm back. If we surrender to the process of recovery, God will give us direction. He will lead us in the direction, in the ways that we should go. He will never leave us confused. We would know exactly what we're supposed to do. I would like to think everybody in this room who date done changed, it was not because you didn't know what to do. You chose not to do it. But you knew exactly what direction you were supposed to go in. You see what I'm saying? Because that you've been taught the tools and the Holy Spirit dwells within you and it was the whole time speaking to you. That's why after a while when we come through programs like this, getting high ain't no fun no more. Because we get some new voices talking to us. Hello. You know what I'm saying? It ain't schizophrenia, it's the Holy Spirit. It's them people at the treatment center. You know.
Yeah.
Be hearing my voice while you smoking. Be messing your high up. Ain't nothing wrong. Last thing you need is me at the dope house with you. Say, you know you ain't supposed to be doing that. This and that. Messing up your house.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't care what you say. Then he will give us passion. Passion. He will give us that thing that makes us passionate, makes us on fire for this thing. It's a beautiful thing when you find somebody that's excited about this recovery process.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And you gotta, and every now and then you run into people and you see them for years and years and they the same, they still on fire. You know, be like, man, what they got that makes them after group after group after group is some of us around, and Herman one of them, and they always say, that's what they always ask me, is Herman still down there making people run? Say he's the same crazy he was in 2000 today. You're like, damn, man, really?
That's right.
Still, man, the passion is still hot.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to find some kind of way to get you on fire about this process where you will still go. That's what made me amazed at the people at this church.
That's right.
That they was coming to church all times of day,
at
night, every day.
That's right.
And then fast forward 30 years, them same people, they may be moving a little slower, but they still doing the same thing. I'm like, wow. And it's called passion.
Yeah.
You better find you something you're passionate about.
That's right.
Somebody read that.
Because we are not perfect, we simply continue to reaffirm our decisions on a regular basis and then do the very best we can to live by it. Complete and unconditional surrender of our will and our lives is an ideal we strive to fulfill.
Y'all see that? Complete and unconditional surrender. Boy, all them cuss words. So I need to do this completely, and I need to do this unconditional. So it don't matter what somebody said, it don't matter what they done, it don't matter what I didn't get, I surrender.
That's right. Amen. That's right. Amen.
Completely and unconditional.
That's right.
That my commitment to recovery is not conditioned upon. I'm gonna go to a meeting and Val come pick me up. See what I'm saying? But if Val too busy or she got to go somewhere, then why you didn't come? Well, she didn't come pick me up. No. I am going to go to a meeting whether Val pick me up or not.
That's right.
There's a such thing as Uber, there's a such thing as Lyft, there's a such thing as Dart, all of that. You see what I'm saying? And if I just know one person in the meeting, then I ain't fellowshipping, I ain't getting to know other people.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So my commitment needs to be unconditional. And it says, of what? I will. My will is my thinking. My life is my action. My will and my life. My back and my neck. Right? That's a song, ain't it? My back and my neck. Our will and our life is the idea that we strive to fulfill. My back and my neck. That we strive for that. Guess what? That's what we're striving for. That's what we're trying to get to. Now, on this side of heaven, we will never be able to fully surrender.
That's right.
But we're striving for it, right? Because the flesh is still alive. So I'm going to be battling with this thing called the flesh all my life. But I'm striving. To be, for this thing to be complete. That's my goal.
That's right.
It says, in everything you do, stay away from complaining and arguing. Arguing and complaining. You see that? In everything you do, y'all, we got to stay away from that. Because that's how the enemy gets us. Because we have this thing on the inside of that have us in constant collision with everybody and everything. So we got to stay away from that, because what the enemy does is uses that. Once I become argumentative or discontented with you, it gives me reason to leave.
Yeah.
And all I need is a little reason to say, forget this, I'm out.
That's right.
So I have to work at, you know what? I'm going to stay away from complaining, and I'm going to stay away from arguing. Because if I go to complaining, it gets in my spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I gotta say, you know, man, Buster always be tripping.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
be messing with everybody, man. I'm sick of this play. And he walk in, he say something, and now there you go. Because you already set with that, because you've already been complaining.
Yeah.
And so we gotta learn how to try to find the good in everything. Well, you gonna break your neck sleeping. Stop, get your feet out of that chair. What? I'm gonna record, nigga. You gonna make me mess up my tape. I surrender all.
I surrender all.
That's a song, ain't it?
That's right.
I surrender all,
Yeah.
and to all to Him I give. Right?
Yeah.
I surrender all. That's what you have to come here and say, you know what? I surrender.
Yeah.
You know, here I am. Take me
Yeah.
and do with me
Yeah.
as thou wilt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Relieve me
Yeah.
of the bondage of sin,
Yeah.
so that I can better do thy will.
Yeah.
I surrender all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I surrender all. I give.
I
I give. Y'all, I give. I cease fighting. That's what this is saying.
Yeah.
And if we don't get that, we stay in this thing and we don't never win. What you need to be convinced of too, that you can't beat addiction
That's right.
by yourself.
That's right. That's right.
It's bad in you.
That's right.
It's tough when you see somebody keep going and taking the same whooping. If it was a physical fight and you were seeing somebody in here, boom, bust their nose, they get up and keep coming back. After a while, you would say, stop! Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why do you keep going over there and they keep busting you in your nose?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get him this time. No, you ain't. It's okay. Ain't that what we tell people?
Yeah.
And then you go to talking to the other person, you say, please don't do that. But this thing is merciless.
Yeah.
It will never stop. You gotta stop.
That's right. That's right.
The disease is merciless.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna stop, it ain't gonna give.
That's
I got to stop. Y'all with me?
That's right.
It gonna keep giving me the same whooping. They don't stop.
Yeah.
They ain't got no mercy. It enjoys it. Because
Yeah.
Satan says his mission was to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna stop being who he is.
That's
Why we fool? He done already told. That's like you going with somebody, you say, you come over here, you know, I'm gonna tighten you up.
Yeah.
Then you go over there and you tighten you up and we act surprised.
Yeah.
Man, I told you, come over here, I'm gonna tighten you up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, leave it alone.
That's right.
We must surrender. Surrender.
Yeah.
And that just means, y'all, let me tell you what that means and what it don't mean right here. The surrendering that y'all do is surrender when you are still smelling like smoke and you're up under the consequences of your addiction. This surrender says, I still surrender when I get my weight back and I get my stuff back. I still have that attitude of surrender then. It's easy to be obedient when you're homeless and cracked out and come in 40 pounds underweight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ain't surrender. It's surrender when you got a pocket full of money and a car outside and some places to go and somebody can still have spiritual authority in your life.
That's right.
That's what surrender is.
That's right.
Can I still speak into Harold's life and he's an entrepreneur and got his own place?
Yeah.
Can I still speak to Val
Yeah.
and she got her own place and married and got her own family?
That's right.
Can I still speak to Marva and Melva and they independently away from here?
Yeah.
That's what surrender is.
That's right.
And all them people I named, can they still speak to me and speak into my life? That's what surrender is.
Yeah.
Or will I try to pull out the big I am on them? Or will I say, you know what? Okay, you're right. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Surrender go both ways.
That's right.
But when I get myself together, can somebody still speak into my life?
Wow.
That's when it get hard.
That's right.
Because it was easy for me to do what they say. Reverend Parker told me to watch them buses when I came. I used to watch the buses all the time.
Yeah.
But when I got my job, brother,
Yeah.
and I was sugar sharp and I had a date and I was finna go, and he told me to watch them buses, I said, man, I don't watch buses no more, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a car.
Yeah.
I had a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you call it when you got your gear together?
Ready.
I was ready.
Ready.
And what he was wanting me to do was to go over there and, man, I'm not watching.
Yeah. That's right.
What's this, man?
That's right.
And I asked him a deep and fundamental question. Man, you must don't know who I am.
Like,
He said, I know who you are.
yeah.
Got me twisted. You got me bent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a bus washer, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to surrender when I got myself together.
Yeah.
And after I went out there and relapsed and sold my car, gave it to that boy for $10, after that I was ready to surrender. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, now I know that whether I have that stuff or not, I'm still the same addict.
That's right.
And I learned how to have some humility even when I had some stuff.
That's right. That's right.
For me,
That's right.
that's what I want y'all to do.
That's right.
And I can look around the room at some of my repeaters that
Yeah.
every time they get some stuff, they can't surrender.
That's right. That's right.
I be waiting on them to talk that talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as they get some stuff, I can tell he's about one paycheck from cussing me out. I go home and tell my wife, baby, next Friday I will be cussed. I'm going to have to ask this brother to turn in his money and he going to go out.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't know how to have some money and surrender.
Yeah.
Y'all know this is true, right?
That's right.
We don't know how to pass eligibility and surrender.
That's right.
You hear in them houses, I ain't in primary. That what Nancy and them and young them be saying. And hell, everybody in the house is in aftercare. So we know who they be talking to. Arguing amongst themselves, all of them in aftercare, and they saying over that house, I ain't in primary. Boy, ain't none of y'all, but they gonna work you to death, because you the only one in primary. So I know you gotta wash all of the dishes, you gotta do everything. Because they ain't finna do nothing. Because they not in primary. And brothers, y'all hear that too, don't you? The brother tell y'all, oh, I'm not in primary. Have you heard that since you've been here? Yeah, you doing it. Somebody read that for me. We almost through.
Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober unless I accept life completely on life's terms. I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitude.
Y'all see that? Just back that up. My attitude in me. You see what I'm saying? See, we trying to change everything in the world. And what we need to do is change us and our attitude. It was the Barcades that said it's your attitude that describes you. And what it means by me accepting my alcoholism, what it says later on, I have to accept my alcoholism and all its devastating consequences.
That's right.
I gotta accept that I'm an addict, and that dictates how I move around in this world.
That's right.
Because as an addict, there are some things that I can do, and there's some things that I cannot do.
That's
Because
right.
I accept my alcoholism.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And I have to accept life on its terms.
That's right.
Now, we read all them self things on page 60 to page 62. You know, see, life, now that once I accept my alcoholism, there are some terms. You know how you read the fine print? You know, down at the bottom it say, now these are the terms and conditions. Well, sobriety has some terms and some conditions.
That's right.
And I have to accept them.
Yeah.
Y'all that keep falling off, you're not accepting the terms and conditions. And learning how to play the game within those boundaries, and check this out, and enjoy it, Harold. Because guess what? The lie that Satan tells us, if we accept these new terms, you can't enjoy life. And that's a lie from the pits of hell.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I seen Val going down the road the other day, just grinning, music loud, shades on, this big, grinning. I said, oh, she enjoying life right now. You know? Me too, I was too. I was too. And guess what? Under these new terms, you can enjoy life.
Yeah, yeah.
Pearl, you enjoying life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Herman, you enjoying life?
Hell yeah.